Encounters of the soul, signs of a soul contract. There are encounters that seem suspended in time, where two souls recognize each other in the blink of an eye, as if an ancient secret were finally revealed. Carl Jung, the visionary who explored the depths of the psyche, taught us that certain human connections transcend this life, born from sacred agreements made long before our bodies took form. These spiritual contracts, woven on the astral plane between incarnations, bring specific people into our path with divine purposes, to teach, heal, awaken, or simply to love in a way that transforms our evolutionary journey. When two souls meet under this cosmic pact, unmistakable signs emerge, whispers from the universe confirming that this encounter is not accidental, but a celestial orchestration carefully planned for the mutual growth of both consciousnesses. The first sign of this sacred contract manifests as an instant recognition when you first meet. It's not simply physical attraction or ordinary chemistry, it's something far deeper and inexplicable. Your eyes meet, and there's a feeling of coming home, as if you're reuniting after a long separation. Jung described this phenomenon as the soul recognizing a familiar essence that has journeyed through multiple incarnations with it. It's as if, for a moment, the veil between worlds becomes transparent, allowing the ancestral memory of the soul to surface. You may feel a strange sense that you've talked before, laughed together, walked side by side in some distant time. This recognition transcends logic and reason. It's a cellular response, a vibration resonating in the depths of your being. Often after this first encounter, you may feel an inexplicable need to be in each other's presence, as if something important is incomplete when you're apart. The second sign reveals itself through the extraordinary synchronicity surrounding your relationship. Repeated numbers begin to appear constantly. Perhaps you always see each other at 11:11, or your birthdays add up to the same number, or you continually notice significant number sequences when you're together. These aren't coincidences, but coded messages from the universe, confirming you're on the right path toward your shared purpose. Jung emphasized that the universe is constantly communicating with us through signs, and when two contracted souls meet, this communication intensifies dramatically. You may find you think of the same person simultaneously, call each other at the exact moment the other was thinking of doing the same, or have similar dreams on the same night. Important books appear in your lives at the perfect moment. Meaningful songs play on the radio when you're together, or you meet in unexpected places seemingly by chance. These synchronicities serve as constant reminders that you're being guided by a greater force orchestrating every detail of your connection. The seventh manifestation, a sense of wholeness. The seventh manifestation appears as a sense of wholeness you experience when together. Jung described this phenomenon as two halves of a larger soul coming together, creating a sense of completeness that can't be found anywhere else. When you are in each other's presence, a meditative quality settles in, a deep peace, and a feeling that everything is exactly as it should be. This completeness isn't based on emotional dependence, but on a spiritual harmony that allows both souls to function at their maximum potential. You may notice that when together, your intuitive abilities amplify, your creativity flows more freely, and you feel more connected to the divine. This sense of wholeness persists even during periods of physical separation, because you carry each other's energy within you. It's as if you found a missing piece of yourselves you didn't even know was missing. The eighth sign, mutual healing. The eighth sign manifests in how you mutually heal each other on deep levels. Soul contracts often involve agreements to assist in healing traumas, fears, and blockages carried through multiple incarnations. Carl Jung revealed that our souls retain imprints of all the experiences we've had, and these imprints can create patterns of suffering that repeat until consciously healed. The person you have a contract with may have natural abilities to help heal specific wounds you carry, or you may find that their presence alone has a healing effect. This healing can manifest in many ways. Perhaps you feel more confident, peaceful, or more capable of forgiveness when with this person. You may experience spontaneous emotional releases, where old pains emerge to be processed and released. Sometimes healing happens through the exact words you needed to hear, or through shared experiences that rewrite old painful narratives. This mutual healing is one of the most sacred aspects of a soul contract because it allows both consciousnesses to release limitations that have hindered their spiritual growth for a long time. The call to awakening. If you are feeling these words are touching something deep within your soul, if you are recognizing signs that have always been there but now make sense, then you are awakening to truths your soul has always known. These revelations are just the beginning of an extraordinary journey of spiritual discovery we are sharing together. Don't let this moment of awakening be lost. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because there is much more wisdom waiting to be unveiled. Each video we share is a key to unlocking deeper aspects of who you truly are. And when you subscribe, you are making a commitment to your own spiritual evolution. Your soul is asking to be nourished with this wisdom, and together we will continue exploring the deepest mysteries of human existence. The ninth sign, expanded consciousness. The ninth sign reveals itself in how you experience an expansion of consciousness when together. Jung taught that when two contracted souls connect, they create an amplified energetic field that allows access to higher levels of perception and understanding. You may notice your psychic abilities intensify in each other's presence, or that you receive insights and revelations that don't come when you are alone. This expansion of consciousness may manifest as an increased ability to perceive auras, sense energies, or receive spiritual messages. You may find that meditation and spiritual practices become deeper and more effective when performed together. Conversations may flow into deep philosophical and spiritual territories naturally, as if you're accessing knowledge from higher sources. This expansion isn't temporary. It creates permanent shifts in your consciousness that persist even when you are apart. You may find yourselves asking deeper questions about life, seeking meaning in experiences that once seemed mundane, or feeling a stronger connection to the divine. This expansion of consciousness is evidence that you are fulfilling part of your contract, which involves awakening each other to higher potentials. 10th manifestation, a shared mission. The 10th manifestation appears as a shared mission you feel called to undertake together. Carl Jung revealed that many soul contracts involve agreements to work together in some service to the world, whether through creative work, healing, teaching, or some other form of positive contribution. You may discover that you have similar visions for how you want to impact the world, or that your individual skills complement each other perfectly to create something greater than either could achieve alone. This mission may not be immediately obvious. It may emerge gradually as you explore your talents and passions together. You may feel a strong urge to collaborate on creative projects, start a healing practice, write a book, or establish an organization that serves a greater cause. This shared mission often feels like a sacred responsibility, something you were specifically designated to accomplish in this lifetime. Even if the relationship isn't romantic, you feel a deep commitment to supporting this mutual mission. The fulfillment of this mission brings a satisfaction that goes beyond personal success. There's a sense that you are fulfilling a divine purpose. 11th manifestation, altered perceptions of time. The 11th sign manifests through the way time seems to behave differently when you are together. Jung described how contracted souls might experience alterations in temporal perception due to their connection to higher dimensions. You may notice that hours pass like minutes when you are in each other's company, or that brief moments feel like eons filled with meaning. This temporal distortion isn't imaginary. It reflects the fact that you are operating on a higher vibrational frequency that transcends the linear limitations of time. You may experience spontaneous flashbacks or visions of future moments you will share, as if the past, present, and future of your connection exist simultaneously. During deep conversations, you may feel as if you are accessing timeless knowledge that has always existed between you. This altered perception of time is evidence that you are accessing dimensions of reality where your souls naturally reside, where sacred agreements are formed, and where true spiritual work happens. 12th manifestation, cosmic gratitude. The 12th and final sign reveals itself through the way you experience a feeling of cosmic gratitude for each other's existence. This gratitude goes beyond ordinary appreciation. It's a profound acknowledgement that you have been blessed with a sacred gift. You feel that regardless of how the relationship evolves, you have been eternally changed for the better by this person's presence in your life. This gratitude is often accompanied by a sense of sacred responsibility. You understand that you have been entrusted with something precious that must be honored and protected. You may feel that this person is a direct gift from the universe, sent specifically to assist in your spiritual journey. This gratitude extends beyond the person to include the entire cosmic orchestration that made this encounter possible. You feel grateful for the experiences that brought you to this point, for the lessons that prepared you for this connection, and for the wisdom that continues to emerge through it. This cosmic gratitude is a sign that you are aligned with the higher purpose of your contract, recognizing that you have been part of something much larger than yourselves. The bigger picture, soul contracts. When we consider all these signs together, we begin to understand the magnitude and beauty of soul contracts. Carl Jung taught us that our souls are eternal entities that continue to evolve through multiple incarnations, always seeking experiences that promote growth, healing, and enlightenment. The contracts we make with other souls before incarnating are expressions of love in its purest form, love that transcends the ego, time, and even death. These sacred agreements are made with the wisdom of our higher selves, with a full understanding that certain experiences, even those that may be challenging, are necessary for our spiritual evolution. The beauty of soul contracts lies in the fact that they connect us to the divine purpose that flows through all of existence. When we recognize that we have encountered someone with whom we have a contract, we are not merely discovering a significant personal connection, we are discovering our place in the grand tapestry of creation. Each soul contract is a thread in this tapestry, connecting individual consciousnesses in patterns of beauty and meaning that reflect the interconnected nature of all life. Jung often spoke about the importance of living with spiritual awareness, recognizing that every encounter, every relationship, every experience has the potential for spiritual growth. When we approach our relationships with this awareness, when we look for the signs and patterns that reveal deeper connections, we begin to live in accordance with our true nature as spiritual beings. We are no longer merely navigating life randomly. We are consciously participating in our own evolution and in the evolution of those we love. It's important to understand that not all soul contracts are destined to last a lifetime in physical form. Some contracts may be fulfilled in a brief but transformative encounter. Others may extend over decades of deep companionship. What matters is not the duration, but the quality of the connection and the growth it facilitates. Some contracts involve teaching specific lessons, others involve mutual healing, and still others involve working together on missions of service to the world. Each contract is unique, shaped by the specific needs and evolutionary path of the souls involved. One of the deepest revelations about soul contracts is that they teach us about the nature of unconditional love. When we love someone with whom we have a soul contract, we are learning to love without expectation, without possessiveness, without fear. This type of love acknowledges the eternal nature of the soul and understands that physical separations are temporary and illusory. It teaches us that true love always seeks the highest good of the other person, even when that means letting them go or supporting them on paths that may lead us in different directions. Soul contracts also teach us about forgiveness on profound levels. When we understand that certain challenging experiences were agreed upon at the soul level for our mutual growth, it becomes easier to forgive and release resentment. Jung taught that forgiveness is essential for spiritual evolution, and soul contracts offer us perfect opportunities to practice this divine forgiveness. They help us see beyond superficial behaviors to the deeper intentions of the soul, allowing us to release judgment and embrace compassion. Another important aspect of soul contracts is how they help us develop our intuition and psychic abilities. When we are in relationships based on spiritual contracts, our intuitive channels naturally open and strengthen. We begin to trust our inner guidance more, to notice signs and synchronicities, and to operate from a wisdom that transcends intellectual knowledge. This psychic expansion is part of the spiritual growth that soul contracts facilitate. Soul contracts also teach us about the interconnectedness of all life. When we recognize that our souls have a history and connections that extend beyond this lifetime, we begin to understand that we are all united in a web of relationships and experiences that spans multiple dimensions of existence. This understanding cultivates humility, compassion, and a sense of responsibility for how we treat all beings we encounter. One of the most important lessons soul contracts teach us is about trusting the divine process. When we begin to recognize the perfect orchestration that brings certain people into our lives at the exact right moment, we develop a deeper faith in the wisdom of the universe. We learn to trust that our souls know what they are doing, even when our conscious mind cannot fully understand why certain experiences are happening. This trust allows us to navigate relationships with greater ease and grace. Soul contracts also teach us about the importance of presence and mindful awareness in the present moment. When we are with someone with whom we have a spiritual contract, we are naturally drawn to be completely present, to savor every moment of the connection. This full presence not only enriches the experience, but also helps us to pick up on the subtle lessons and insights that are being offered through the interaction. It is essential to understand that recognizing a soul contract doesn't mean the relationship will be free of challenges. In fact, often the opposite is true. Soul contracts can bring up our greatest fears, insecurities, and limiting patterns so they can be healed. These challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. They force us to develop greater self-awareness, compassion, and spiritual wisdom. Jung taught that our response to these challenges determines whether we fulfill our soul contracts or create additional karma that will need to be resolved in future incarnations. When we approach difficulties in relationships with spiritual awareness, when we seek to understand the deeper lessons and respond with love instead of reacting with fear, we are fulfilling our contracts in a way that promotes growth and healing for both souls involved. Soul contracts also teach us about the multidimensional nature of reality. When we experience telepathic communication, shared dreams, or the instant recognition that characterizes these connections, we are catching glimpses of dimensions of existence that are normally hidden from conscious perception. These experiences expand our understanding of who we are and how the universe truly works. One of the most transformative revelations about soul contracts is that they help us understand our broader life purpose. When we recognize the people with whom we have contracts and understand the nature of our mutual agreements, we often receive insights into why we chose this particular life and what lessons or missions we came to fulfill. This understanding can be profoundly guiding, helping us to make choices that are aligned with our highest spiritual purpose. Soul contracts also teach us about the importance of spiritual surrender. When we try to control or manipulate relationships based on spiritual contracts, we often create resistance and suffering. We learn that the wiser approach is to surrender to the natural flow of the connection, trusting that our higher wisdom is guiding the process. This surrender is not passivity, but rather an active participation based on trust and faith. Another important lesson is about the nature of service. Many soul contracts involve agreements to serve together in some way, whether through creative work, healing, teaching, or mutual spiritual support. When we recognize these agreements of service, we often feel a renewed motivation to use our talents and abilities in ways that benefit others. This orientation towards service is a natural expression of the spiritual love that characterizes soul contracts. Soul contracts also help us understand the cyclical nature of existence. Jung taught that our souls go through cycles of growth, experience, and integration that extend across multiple incarnations. When we recognize someone with whom we have a contract, we are often recognizing someone who has been a part of our growth cycles for a long time. This understanding helps us to cherish these connections and to operate them with the reverence they deserve. Finally, soul contracts teach us about the eternal nature of love. When we experience the deep, enduring connection that characterizes these relationships, we begin to understand that true love transcends all limitations: time, space, death, and even changes in physical form. This eternal love is what motivates us to make soul contracts in the first place, and it's what sustains us through all the experiences these contracts bring. When we contemplate the depth and beauty of soul contracts, we are reminded that we are participating in something sacred and magnificent. Every person we meet, every relationship we form, every experience we share has the potential for spiritual growth and healing. But those connections based on soul contracts offer especially rich opportunities for transformation and evolution. Carl Jung reminded us that we are all eternal souls on a journey of returning to the divine. The contracts we make with each other along this journey are expressions of the wisdom and love that reside at the core of our being. When we recognize and honor these contracts, we are not only enriching our own lives, we are participating in the evolution of human consciousness and contributing to the elevation of all humankind. May we all have the wisdom to recognize the soul contracts we encounter, the courage to embrace the lessons they offer, and the grace to honor the sacred agreements we made. For it is through these contracts that we discover not only who we are, but who we are destined to become. Now, looking at your own life, can you identify someone with whom you may have a soul contract waiting to be recognized and honored?